The next problem with WoW is the whole server thing. The whole server, transfer servers, all of that. And I touched on this a bit in my Blizzard is ripping us off video, but there's just no point for it. You know, let's say by some miracle that one of my friends decides to start playing WoW. You know, he didn't tell me he was going to start, so we could do refer a friend or anything, but, you know, he just got into it, and for some reason he was, able to overcome the obstacle of leveling up in WoW, which is bland and boring. And, you know, like let's say he's level 20 or 30 by this point. You know, he's invested too much time in his character to, you know, want to re-roll. He's having a good time. Maybe he made a hunter, so everything's really easy for him. And he's on some other server than me. And by just happen chance, we're the same faction even. Well, with the cross-realm zones, okay, cool. So I can go and play with him a little bit. I can help him out a little bit. But I can't give them any gold or bags, which is really what, you know, leveling characters need, right? They need their gold, they need their bags. Might even give them like a pet or two, you know, just to introduce them to the whole pet battle system. But I can't do that. Why? Like, why not? Now, Blizzard can talk all they want about how it's so hard and yada yada yada, but it's your game. Like, I do have a little bit of experience, not so much with video games, but with programming in general, and it shouldn't be too hard. Like, rework whatever you have to work. It's been 8 years. You make billions of dollars a year. Just do it. Quit telling us how hard it is to make your game that doesn't innovate, doesn't do anything new. Don't quit telling us that. That's an insult. And all the fanboys, they just accept it. Oh, it's too hard to mail stuff cross-server. Not for the GMs. The technology's already there, because there was a time when I transferred from Forgotten Coast to Daramir, and I'd left one of my heirlooms behind. Just one single heirloom as a plate chest. And I opened a ticket, and sure enough, that GM was able to give me that plate heirloom cross-server. So the technology exists. If the technology exists, and you're telling me it doesn't exist, you must have a good reason, right? Well, what would your good reason be? Oh, because you want me to server transfer. You're going to pay the $25 to server transfer, right? Okay. Well, that's trash, because as much as I like my friend, I'm not going to drop 25 bucks to bring one of my mains, which I'm probably used, you know, in an arena team or a raid group or some sort of in-game, just to go help him level up and play with him. I mean, in an ideal world, sure, maybe I would do that, but that's not the world we live in. There's no reason for any of that anymore. The only reason is because a lot of people server transfer. And Blizzard cashes in on that. They can make it so much better. Like, why can my arena team not cross servers? Well, we have battle groups and it's hard to do. It's not hard to do. We can already run battlegrounds and rated battlegrounds. So the rating system, the technology to have the rating system span servers and battle groups already exists. It's too hard to do it for arenas, right? Because if you want to get serious about arenas, you got to drop that $25 to server transfer. Okay. Blizzard, they haven't made these comments recently, but you know, they would make these comments about building server communities. Yeah, no. That, If you look at all the cross-server technology that they've implemented over the years, you know, starting with like the looking for dungeon, the battlegrounds, all of that was done to make them more money. What do I mean by that? Well, if I hit level 70 in the Burning Crusade, which I didn't even play during, but if I did, and I wanted to run dungeons, well, I'd be forced to deal with the people on my server. Now, that sounds pretty pessimistic. Well, if you're from a good server, or you have like really good friends, that's not a problem. But you know, what if I've been playing WoW by myself? I don't really have any friends. You know, I'm in some random guild just because they asked me if I wanted to come, but they're always off raiding and never really want to do dungeons with me. It's a pain. It was a pain to form a dungeon group, which would lead to me what? Not playing and not paying. So looking for dungeons, looking for battlegrounds, all that came into existence. Now we skip forward to now. Or actually, let's back up a little bit. So in patch, what was it, 4.3, I think, when DS was released, Dragon Soul? I don't remember. But, you know, then they introduced this concept of, oh, you can raid old content. Maybe they even released that with Cataclysm. Anyway, doesn't matter. At some point, they released the technology to raid cross, but only for the old content. Which means what? That they developed the technology that they already had for us to enter the same instance cross-server and to invite friends, cross-server to go do old raids. But why not the new raids? Why not? I'll tell you exactly why not. Because people will pay a lot of money to transfer servers to be in a good raid guild. And even if you're on a good server and you're in a good raid guild, you might want to go to a better raid guild. And people will spend hundreds of dollars over the course of the year. Like, the hardcore raiders will spend hundreds of dollars server transferring around. And the only reason that Blizzard keeps that in mind, or keeps that in place, that system, is because you will spend the money. And that, to me, is a bad business practice. For keeping the old technology around, keeping the old standard intact, simply to make money. It would be one thing if this game was like Lord of the Rings Online or something, a free-to-play game, that didn't do so well, or Star Wars Old Republic, where everybody quit playing it. And I'd understand, then you need your hardcore players to support the infrastructure. But this is World of Warcraft. It nets over $1 billion, or it grosses, I don't know how much it nets. It grosses over $1 billion a year. There are people I know, like hardcore raiders that I know, they spend more on server transfers than they do for playing the game. And let's talk about things like arbitrary gold limits. You can only transfer 50,000 gold at the current time when I'm making this video. You can only transfer 50,000 gold. Well, why is that? Well, Blizzard says it's to reduce, what do they call it? Third-party websites from selling gold. Right, so that a third-party website can't just transfer characters with millions of gold around. Well, the gold cap's 1 million gold, so that's not practical. But that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Because it doesn't make any logical sense. Blizzard says it makes sense, right? Well, it makes it harder on the gold farmers. Well, actually, no, it doesn't, because on any server, I can buy gold. On any server. So I can just go transfer my character. I can only transfer 50,000 gold. I'll just have to buy more gold there, right? Whatever. There's no point to any of that. But what that does, by putting that artificial limit of 50,000 gold, think about what it's doing. It's making you either transfer a guild, which is going to tack on another $35 to your $25 transfer fee, or you have to transfer multiple tunes. Now you may think to yourself, well, dude, I've never had 50,000 gold in my whole WoW career. And I'm sorry that you're kind of bad at the game, but that's okay. Just believe me when I say that most people have over 50,000 gold. Not most people. That's an erroneous statement. Most hardcore WoW players have over 50,000 gold. It's not a big deal to have over 50,000 at all times, even on multiple tunes. It's not hard either. So now I've either got to transfer, so let's get back to it, right? So if I want to transfer my gold with my character, I've either got to pay an extra 35 bucks for the guild transfer, or I've got to pay to transfer a second character. Excuse me, and even then I only get 100,000 gold. Gold that I've made paying Blizzard to play their game. But they don't care. That's, they're making money by it, because people are letting them. They're basically, people are letting Blizzard just face roll them into paying all this extra money when they already paid for the physical game itself, and they pay the $15 a month. And that's ridiculous. That Blizzard has this technology. It has technology to move items from server to server. It has technologies to get rid of the servers in general. But it won't use it because they're wringing money out of you. I'll continue more in a little bit.